So the book took a little bit longer than I expected to get here. Um, just a little bit though. Now I have it, and I'm going to do multiple parts of reading this. Originally, I was going to also live stream it, but I decided that it would be best if I just recorded it basically in parts. Sorry, that music was a little too loud. Yeah, I'm going to be recording this in parts. This is going to be part one. I don't know, I might read to like 100 pages or something. I only have about an hour at max. Here's the book. And let's get started. So it comes with a map, which is pretty cool. Let's check it out real quick. Wow, this thing is big. Oh my. It's like as big as my torso. Wow. Nothing too interesting though. It's it's just the same map in the game. It has all the sites of grace. Marked. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm going to have to check that out a bit more later. Okay. Alright, so that's pretty much the introduction. Team Future Press talking about, just how the Lands Between is and how FromSoft is with designing their games and whatnot. Oh. Okay, there's a map legend. Okay. There's waypoint, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that I might actually want to use that. Wait, that might actually be useful for like playthroughs and stuff. I mean, I already know where just about everything is, but still, if I ever forget, I can check that. Chapter 1, Systems Guide. And like I mentioned before, I'm not going to read literally every single thing in the book. I'm going to be reading like anything that I find interesting, anything that I think would be found interesting to me if I was, say, a viewer. But I'm not going to just go and read the entirety of the book out loud. For multiple reasons. Okay, let's see here. Yep. Okay. It's basically talking about the Lands Between again and the dangers that you'll face in it. Yep, this is all true, right? Oh boy, I like that. Elden Ring features lore and world building by George R.R. Martin and Hidetaka Miyazaki. They've created a world rich in history, inhabited by a deeply mysterious cast of characters. This doesn't mean the game story is primarily told through cutscenes, however. Rather, it's uncovered through playing the game, talking to the actors, gathering items, building out the true history in the world of Lands Between bit by bit as you progress. Exactly. A lot of people say that Elden Ring doesn't have a story or that the story isn't conveyed properly, but it does have a story, and the way you get it is by playing the game and actually paying attention to the story instead of just focusing on leveling up and boss fights and stuff. Which, I mean, it's fine that not everybody is into that. That's understandable, but I'm just saying. I think a lot of people don't give Elden Ring story enough credit. Yep. This book is pretty heavy, by the way. It's like actually a textbook, basically, as you would expect for a $50 book. Okay, so most of this stuff is pretty basic knowledge. Everybody knows this. Vigor increases HP, fire resistance, and immunity. Mind increases FP and focus. Endurance increases stamina, equip load, and robustness. Strength, damage modifier, and usage requirement for strength-based weapons. Dex, primary damage modifier / requirement for dexterity-based weapons. Secondary modifier / requirement for most other weapons. Slightly increases casting speed of spells. Intelligence, damage modifier, and usage requirement for sorceries and certain incantations. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, now everybody knows this. And yes, it does confirm that Arcane increases blood loss built upon weapons. Arcane also helps with item discovery, right? I actually forgot that. Starting origins, yes. This is pretty much talking about the starting classes. No, whoops, my bad, I forgot to change that. Again, I haven't done this before, so it's gonna be a little scuffed. Vagabond, blah, blah. Yeah, just talking about the starting classes again. Basic knowledge, nothing interesting here. But it does mention the Wretch, the Giga Chad class. If you're a Giga Chad, you play the Wretch on your first playthrough. Means of leveling up, yes, yes, yes. Game progression. Yeah, that's pretty much the way this guide is starting is sort of targeting players that like not players who haven't played the game, but people who are like still don't know too much beyond the very basics. Like it's giving you everything instead of assuming that you already know a lot. Oh. Okay, this might be some interesting stuff. Great runes. Great runes are shards of the Elden Ring, each conferring unfathomable power to its owner. I'm sure that's probably how it is in the lore, but in the game, they're mostly kind of trash and worthless. They were kind of underwhelming for me, personally. I felt that they would be more important in the actual game. You acquire great runes by vanquishing the shard bearers who hold them. Exiled demigods fallen from grace. In nearly all cases, a great rune must be restored before you can make its power your own. Yep, okay. Yep. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, now it's just going over basic game mechanics like rolling, jumping, fall damage, blah blah blah. Oh, wait. No, this is actually, there actually is some stuff here. Okay, roll speeds, light roll. Under 30% total equip load. Fastest roll class with minimum travel or maximum travel distance and invincibility frames. Slightly slower than a medium roll, under 70% total equip load. Slightly lower than a light roll, with moderate travel distance and invulnerability duration. Heavy roll, over 70% equip load. Incurs a severe penalty to travel distance and stamina cost. This provides almost no vulnerability. Virtually ineffective for evasion. Over encumbered. Exceeding 100% of your equip load will completely disable rolling and slow all their movement to a crawl. Yeah. Jumping attacks. Light jump attack. Light attack while airborne. Strong jump attack. Strong attack while airborne. Oh, there's two-handed. Okay. Now this is what I thought might be interesting. Base fall damage values. Is it based on time or distance? 0.00 dash or 216.00 m. I'm guessing that means meters. No damage. Over that, lose 10%. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's kind of ridiculous. So 20.00 m equals, well, it means you lose half HP. If you fall 20, I'm guessing meters, you lose half your HP. If you fall 20.01 meters, you die. What? That doesn't make sense. Whatever. Okay. Fall damage equip load multipliers. Huh. So there is a difference depending on your equip load. That's cool. But it isn't major. Yeah, you only take extra damage if you have 150% equip load. Yeah, whatever. Dexterity also helps out with it. It lowers how much damage you take from falling, but not by much, again. Not fragments, environmental features. Yeah, okay. No lore again. Yeah, no, it's just talking about really basic game knowledge that pretty much everybody knows. Oh, this might be interesting. Defense and damage negation are what mitigate the amount of damage you receive, obviously. Defense calculated by your attribute. Okay. Doesn't give any specific stats or anything. I guess I'll read this part. So it's going over status ailments, so, you know, status effects. Blood loss deals a single fixed instance of damage based on the victim's maximum health. The actual percentage of damage inflicted is inversely proportional to the size of the target's health pool. Weak enemies with a few hundred HP will generally lose between 40% and 70% to a single application of blood loss, while stronger enemies with 4 or 5 digit HP will lose roughly 15 to 25%. Don't let the diminishing percentage dissuade you. That would be low. 20% of a strong opponent's health can still equate to thousands of points of damage, and despite the lower overall attack power of weapons with blood infinity, a mere 2 or 3 successful applications of bloodlust can cut a susceptible foe's life bar in half. Yep. Okay, this might be some actually relatively important information. So as everybody knows, if you do multiplayer with friends and you like fight bosses together, it'll actually strengthen the enemies, and this gives you the exact proportions or stats. So with one extra ally, the enemy's HP is increased by 30%. Their poison resistance, is increased by 50. Rot resist is increased by 50. Blood resist is increased by 50. Frostbite 50. Sleep 50. Madness 50. Oh, their stance. The stance damage received is reduced to 60%. Okay, that's pretty massive. With 2 allies, HP is increased by 50%. Poison resistance increased by 50%. 50% for all those same stats. Yeah, it's the same as before, but also 35% damage or stance damage received. So that's 65% less than normal. With 3 allies, the enemy's HP is increased by 60%. 200% resistance to all of those status effects I mentioned before, with 25% stance damage received. Oh, that's for strong enemies, so not bosses and not normal enemies. Normal enemies get barely anything. Oh god, it's even worse for bosses. For bosses, they get 60% extra HP with 1 ally, 230% extra HP with 2 allies. It's 270% HP with 3 allies, which is 170% more than normal. That's almost 3 times their base HP. Oh wow. Other than that, most of it stays the same. Oh, okay. For bosses, they do get damage increases, but they're pretty minor, relatively speaking. They also get massive status resistance increases, but that's the same. Okay, so it also does go over the level you have to be summoned by another person to help them or to attack them. Generally speaking, it's what you would expect. Anywhere within like a 40 level difference or less would still allow you to be summoned against or with someone. Apparently, the weapon upgrade also affects it. Spoilers ahead, well, no shit. Okay, so it confirms the area order. So, for Limgrave, you're expected to have either a 0 level weapon, 2, 3 on a, a normal weapon, or 1 for a somber weapon. For Weeping Peninsula, so it goes Limgrave, Weeping Peninsula, Seofor River, Stormvale, Liurnia of the Lakes, Academy of Ray Lucaria, Ainzel River, Caelid, Nokra on the Eternal City, Deeper Depths, Ainzel River Main, Moonlight Altar, Lake of Rot, Altus Plateau, Mount Gelmir. Oh, wait. Okay, so it isn't an order of that, it's just... Or I guess it's the order you're supposed to go to them? I don't know, it's weird. Because the weapon levels don't necessarily match where they are. For example, the Lake of Rot, you're supposed to have a higher level weapon than in the Altus Plateau. And in Mount Gilmer, but they're listed after the Lake of Rot. That's weird. Volcano Manor, Capital Outskirts, Lindell Royal Capital, Subterranean Training Grounds, Lindell Catacombs, Frenzied Flame Prescription, Mountain Tops of the Giants, Unsquared Snowfield, Milburn Palace, Michaelis Halleck Tree, Coleman Firm Azula, and then Lindell Asher Capital. Nothing to really note in here. Most of the levels are what you would expect. Okay, here we go. The Demes? I've never seen that word in my life. Okay, so it does confirm that, I mean, this is already obvious, but it does confirm that an army marched to Caelid from Limgrave. cool. Nope. Yeah, it's just giving more, oh my god. I'm not even going to say it. I'm just gonna... Can you read that? Okay, Future Press, good one, good one. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't see it. So they actually made an Among Us reference in a book about Elden Ring. Wait. Oh, they just mentioned a cheese. Wait, Future Press actually just recommended that you do a cheese. What? Ranged weapons such as bows can be helpful, especially if you want him to get him stuck in the doorway to the Church of LA, which makes this fight incredibly easy but much more tedious. Huh, so they just outright mentioned a cheese that you can do. Okay, I don't mind. Mount Gelmir, which houses the volcano manor at its summit, is characterized by sheer cliffs and ominous skies. These qualities only became more pronounced after the shattering. This inhospitable mountain bore witness to the most gruesome battle of the shattering. Capital outskirts. Lindell, city of the Erdtree, is a metropolis enclosed by double ramparts. The inner wall remains unbreached to this day. Oh, wait. So after Margaret speaks to you, it says, after which the commoner becomes possessed and transforms into Margaret himself. Because there's been a little bit of a, not really a controversy, but a small debate in the fan base about what actually Margaret does to appear where he does. Most people assume that he was using astral projection or something. So he possesses somebody and then transforms them into himself. So it's like a manifestation of Margaret. It's not actually Margaret, or Morgott rather, but he is physically there. So yeah, so far, like I said before, I believe that this is going to be the less interesting part. I've already made it through a lot of the book. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm already at around page 200 in the book, and there's 507 pages, so I'm already a substantial way through the book. I mean, obviously I didn't read all of this, but it's mostly useless information. Like, it's just information about the world or about sites of grace or, different locations or quest lines or stats or strategies or whatever. It's stuff that most people who've played Elden Ring already know. And of course, if you're watching this, then you would already know about all of this stuff. So I don't think it's relevant enough to go over in this video. Because, like, it would just kind of be boring. There's no point in me mentioning it, strategy. avoid the sweep attack, avoid the jump attack, whatever. Yeah, it's just most of it so far has been relatively useless information. I think the next parts will be a bit more interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time in this video to go too far. I only had about an hour. But yeah, I think once I get to the lore section, that's where I'm really going to start reading a lot of the book. Yeah, I mean, not much else to say. I'll be making more parts of this, and I think the other parts are going to be a bit more interesting. Most of this information hasn't been very useful or interesting. So, yeah, I'll catch you next time.